Hello, I'm Joey Haskins, and welcome back to You've Never Seen, in which I showcase a movie you've probably never seen before. The world of Japanese animation has grown more and more popular in the past few years. Many new shows, or anime as they call it, have come out and grabbed the pop culture zeitgeist, along with the over thousands of other shows that were popular in the past or are lesser known. But because they've become more popular, it's led to Hollywood wanting to exploit it, of course. Now, there are several live-action anime adaptations in development right now, including Naruto, One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. Even Disney have dropped hints that they may develop a live-action Dragon Ball movie. And I haven't even mentioned the second season of the live-action version of One Piece, or the sequel to the live-action Death Note movie. But up until a few years ago, live-action anime adaptations were almost untouchable, and for a few reasons. One, they were never faithful adaptations or satisfied the fans who loved them. And two, they were always critical and box office failures. The prime example of this is Dragon Ball Evolution, which many have described as one of the worst films ever made. So every time an anime adaptation happens, it usually doesn't end well for anyone. Except for what we're looking at today. Although it was heavily panned when it first came out, one live-action anime adaptation managed to get a cultural reappraisal in the years since, with a movie based on the series Mach Go Go Go, or as it's most commonly known, Speed Racer. Speed Racer is based on the popular manga by Tatsuya Yoshida and is directed by the Wachowski Sisters. It stars John Goodman, Susan Sarandon, Christina Ricci, Roger Allam, Matthew Fox, Polly Litt, and Emile Hirsch as Speed Racer himself. It's pretty easy to see why Speed Racer got panned by critics or why people scoffed at it. Almost the entire film is shot in front of special effects. The acting is okay, if not passable, and it can almost seem like box office poison to put a child actor or a chimp in the movie, but both at the same time? Yeah, many would have thought that the film was just another studio-mandated piece of garbage. It also didn't help that the movie came out a week after Iron Man. The film was also stuck in development hell for over a decade at that point. Several names had come and gone from the project, including Johnny Depp, J.J. Abrams, Vince Vaughn, Alfonso Cuarón, even Gus Van Sant was considered at one point to direct it. But the project eventually went to the Wachowskis, and honestly, it wasn't that bad of a call. They were still popular after finishing The Matrix a few years prior, and those movies are greatly inspired by anime, so who better than people who know the type of source material it's based off of? And they used Speed Racer to sort of experiment with how films were made. They wanted to make something with a much more universal appeal rather than the very much R-rated Matrix movies. What came out of it was a film that is so stylized, so colorful, so over the top, it's no wonder it got bad reviews. Lest we forget, this was 2008. Many of the heroes in the 2000s at that point were dark and gritty to portray a dark, gritty world. So with such an aesthetic shift in the film, the Wachowskis almost knew that a majority of people would hate it. But that wasn't their intention. To them, it was for the kids. The Wachowskis wanted to make a film for a universal audience after all, and they thought that kids would be okay with such an aesthetic change. Thus, Speed Racer was released, and was immediately panned by everybody. But not long after the film was released, it started to get a cultural reappraisal. And as someone who at least remembers seeing the film in 2008, but almost nothing about it, watching it back all these years later, yeah, it's pretty good. Is it the best thing I've seen? No, but consider this. The fact that everything is almost completely done in CGI is impressive in its own right. Does it look good? No, but it's passable. I mean, this did come out just a few years after the Star Wars prequels were ridiculed for its abundance of visual effects. And hey, most of the stuff in that is passable too, but it looks awesome. Yoda jumping around like a rabbit is stupid, but boy does it look cool. The same can be said about Speed Racer. It does look extremely fake, but it wears that honor on its sleeve. And with a good story included, and a great score by Michael Giacchino, it looks awesome. And to add on to that, Speed Racer delivers something that's action-packed, anti-greed, well-directed, and even downright emotional at times. Speed Racer is a film worth seeing if not for its jarring visuals, but for its success in leaning into the direction of the future of blockbusters. And many nowadays look at Speed Racer as a good film. Many of my friends have told me to watch it again and marvel at how great it is, and I'm happy to say that they were right. Not only that, but many have even shared the possibility that a sequel could be coming. Well, take that news with a grain of salt. It's been reported that the Wachowskis did write a sequel, and many in the cast were open to returning. Hell, as late as 2022, Emile Hirsch has expressed interest in coming back. But now it looks like J.J. Abrams is moving forward with his own Speed Racer project at Apple TV. But you never know. The idea is still clearly on the table. Regardless, the Speed Racer franchise is most certainly not dead and has a bright future ahead of itself. Or in other words, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go! You can watch Speed Racer for free on YouTube, or you can check it out at your local library. With Weston Media Center, I'm Joey Haskins, and I'll see you all next time.